Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie, and it's a special Whiskey in the Van Wednesday.
That's right, today we're trying High West's on Midwinter Night's Dram, Act 8, Scene 5.
Take one. So we've only been able to try one High West so far, and we're really excited about this one because, rave reviews.
Yeah.
Rave reviews.
People love High West. People love this bottle. All we've ever had is the double rye. To be completely honest, until you started using it in old fashions, I wasn't sure what we were going to do with it.
It was delicious in my old fashioned.
It's
already gone.
It's really sweet and wonderful in old fashions. Just a quick background on High West. Based in Park City, Utah, they used to source all of their stuff everywhere from MGP to Barton 1792 Distilling. I don't know what all the mixes and blends are these days. This bottle here is made of their Rendezvous Rye product, which I believe is 4 to 7 years aged, blends of MGP and some of High West's own distillate, and then it gets finished in French oak port barrels.
It's a great way to say goodbye to the holiday season and kick off a brand new year.
We didn't have this on Christmas. We're just extending our Christmas season. One more quick note. Obviously, this is finished in port barrels. We don't have a lot of finished whiskeys around. Maybe this will kick off a new appreciation for us. That was a really good pop, right?
One.
Not too shabby.
We've had some lackluster pops lately.
Lousy pops lately. Spilled already? What a pour.
Look at the color. It's nice. Don't waste any.
All right, she's a beautiful color. I have to assume that a lot of that comes from those port barrels, but who knows, maybe their rye whiskey is just that pretty to look at in general. This bottle, a little bit rare around here. We didn't find it on the shelf. We lucked out. We were at a liquor store on delivery day and just happened to be there at the right time and place to grab this bottle. It's a $90 bottle here in Oregon, 98.6 proof, and as we learned recently, that's not the human body temperature anymore. And, apparently the lizard people are taking over, and I found out something interesting.
Yeah.
Our friend JT,
yeah,
he's one of those lizard people.
He's at the 97.9 or something.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
I know. I ran into the 97 point something earlier this summer, so.
I just feel like I can't trust anybody anymore. I haven't even brought this up to my nose yet, and I'm already getting some of that weird nose that I got on the double rye, but it's not off-putting in the way that it was in the double rye. This actually reminds me a little bit more of the Woodinville nose. I don't know if it's the yeast that they're using in Park City, Utah, and in Woodinville outside of Seattle and Washington. Something about the western half of the country. There's just some weird noses on these bottles.
So I know that people like to drink this around Christmas, or maybe it just has Christmassy flavors to it or something, but I really am getting a lot of like dried fruit on the nose. Not like a super sweet fruit, a little bit of a dark red fruit or something.
It's a little bit hard to sift through that High West nose that I've come to know from the double rye. There is something there, I would say, in my mind, maybe a fig, like a dried fig.
Christmassy.
Yeah, a little Christmassy. It actually reminds me a little bit of trail mix, where they put like the dried fruit in it. Well, it's beautiful to look at. It smells very interesting, and I think we should have a taste. Cheers.
Okay. Cheers. Whoa. My faith is restored.
You like this one?
That's interesting.
Interesting is, yeah.
And interesting in a good way. Not in, I've had some like, ooh, that was interesting. But this is like, it gives me, it's nice and warm, nice little tingle. I'm gonna have to take a couple sips to figure out some flavors on this one, but that initial sip,
yeah,
there was no alcohol heat to it. It's just all warmth, a little bit of a hug in there. Either a floral or a fruity or excited to dig in.
Festive potpourri.
Maybe.
Right off the bat for me, cinnamon, some rye spice, maybe a touch of a marshmallow note there, but it's plum on the back end, like a really sweet plum, nothing too tart. While we let this bottle open up a little bit, this is a special edition bottle. Beyond that, I don't know that much about it. I haven't done any sort of history. Don't have a history lesson for you today.
I know this is your Whiskey in the Van Wednesdays. You're always up for a little history.
I was more up for just trying some whiskey today. And honestly,
that's why I'm here.
If you're looking for a good story, go back and watch the old Granddad 114.
So if you're hesitant to give this a try, which you're probably not.
Yeah, most people probably are not hesitant to try this one.
I just like what it says on the back. One taste of a Midwinter Night's Dram alongside a cozy fire will surely transport you to a dreamlike state.
Oh, that's very nice.
I know. I'm in with that.
The one thing I'll say about this on the nose and on the palate, and the nose is opening up. I'm getting less and less of that sort of weird note. I'm getting more of almost a chocolatey note on the nose now, which is really the sweetness is there. It's hard to sort of pin down what that note is, and I think that's because it's such a complex whiskey. I think it's because it's a rye, and also that French port barrel finishing sort of rounds everything off. It's so subtle.
I just got that port. My grandma loves port wine.
Oh yeah.
Loves it.
Grandma's all right.
Drinks it by the gallon. And I do get a little of that because port is such a dry wine. Like it's just such a dessert wine. And I get a little of that. It almost like coats like it was coating the roof of my mouth a little bit as I was drinking it.
It does have a great mouthfeel. You're right, it's viscous. That last sip was all raisins for me. So I've gotten the raisin note here and there.
It's like a fruit pie. What do they call this? Not a fruit pie. Like those English things?
The Christmas pies that are really hard, the brick pie.
It's not a very good thing, but maybe like what? Fruitcakes?
Fruitcake.
Yeah. Woo! Took us a long way to get around.
This is just the type of thing that I would normally edit out if it was just me talking, but since we're both struggling, I think I'm going to leave that in. So you're welcome, America and world.
But
Internet.
I don't know if I've actually ever had fruitcake before, but it just kind of reminds me because it's got all those like different, less sweet fruit bits in there, you know?
No, you're absolutely right. The one thing that I continue to get here though, and I'm surprised by it because it's so dry, it's so complex, it's so flavorful, but I'm getting this unbelievable powdered sugar note, this confectioner's sugar note, right in the center of my tongue. It's holding it all together. It's really nice.
I will say that last sip for me, I got a little of that rye spice that tingles. You were talking about the powdered sugar in the middle of the tongue. I got a little bit of that like pop roxy, like it just like dances a bit on the tongue.
Absolutely.
And now I'm just getting all dried fruit, right? So a little dried cherry, that dried plum you were talking about, the raisins.
Yeah.
I like it.
And you called out the Kentucky hug earlier, which I guess is the Park City, Utah hug in this instance. I'm just now getting that. I'm going to have another sip here and we'll talk about the finish in just a minute because this is one of the more interesting finishes that I've encountered. If you can't tell, I'm really enjoying this glass right now.
So I want to make one comment about the beautiful label. I'm really enjoying it, and it does look like you ripped a page out of an old Shakespearean book. Yeah, like an old-timey book.
The details of all of their bottles are terrific. They've got these great big wooden toppers on them, this old-style bottle shape, and the bottle itself, really hard to see there, I'm sure. There are imperfections in the bottle all the way down to the base. See how it's...
the specs.
Yeah, everything is just a little bit off kilter. It really does sort of capture that Old West appeal. Whoever's doing their design work is
I like it.
Well done. Yeah, they kind of nail their motif better than really almost anybody out there.
Yeah.
It looks great.
I like it.
So for me, the port shows up again and again in this glass. The finish is where I think that the oak is showing up. And it's a little bit of a toasted oak. I expected this to be musty. Like thinking old wine grapes or a cask that had wine in it, you would think that there's a must there. This, you mentioned this earlier about brighter sort of aromas and flavors. This is surprisingly bright to me. I thought that this was going to be muted, sort of musty, more grape forward than anything else. This finish, I'm getting nice toasted oak, tons of raisins and dark dried fruits, and the cinnamon note that I got on the palate on my first sip has all but disappeared. There's almost like a vanilla frosting that's lingering on the finish for me. This is a really wildly complex whiskey, and I'm really enjoying it. You mentioned the other day that you're really enjoying ryes lately, and this is an unusual rye. I don't know how you're enjoying this one, but I'm really enjoying this one.
It didn't let me down.
From the nose to the palate to the finish. I love the palate. I love the finish. It's very complex, it's very unique. The nose, for me, it still has that weird marker eraser board nose on it, the shoe polish that you mentioned previously. Maybe it's just growing on me, and maybe it's more subtle in this bottle than the other bottle that we tried of their stuff. I don't know for sure, but it's not as off-putting to me this time around. I don't actively dislike it. It's not my favorite nose, but honestly, for all the complexity and flavor on the palate, this long-lasting finish, by the way, this is a very, very good bottle. Aside from that one knock on the nose, I love this.
For me, the nose, as it's opened up, it's got better. Definitely gotten better.
Agreed.
The nose is surprisingly sweeter for me. Some like maple sweetness. So there's like, you know, like a little fruit sweetness, whatever. That doesn't come through actually on the palate. Because on the palate, it's all those darker dried fruits, a little bit of that port. you know, those plums and raisins. I got a little bit of
Yeah.
your cinnamon, but the finish, I'm gonna say this again, and I've said this numerous times, but it's just lovely.
Yeah.
It just really
Word of the
is.
day. The word of the day is lovely.
It is, it gives you a really nice warmth,
Yeah.
not overpowering. There's no upfront ethanol taste to it. It's
Nothing
just a
like
really
that.
pleasing drink. Interesting flavors. For me, this is unlike anything that I've tasted so far.
If their goal was to make a holiday season sipper for the middle of winter, which we know it is, they nailed it. It's fantastic.
I don't really have anything negative to say.
So this bottle, $90, and I guess we should talk value a little bit on this. Online retailers will sell this bottle for $200, $300, $400.
That's so silly.
I cannot recommend it on secondary. That's just bonkers. If you find this bottle for like 100, 110 and you're a big High West fan, maybe 120 even, okay, I get that. But beyond that, you know,
Yeah.
it's just whiskey. Don't go crazy.
From the taste of this and the uniqueness of flavors that I got out of this, that $90 price range doesn't seem crazy to me.
Limited edition bottle. They will make different variations of this in the future, of course. But for what this is, it's fantastic. It's worth every cent of the $90 that we spent on it, and I'm glad that we've got it. Again, I'm not going to compare it to anything else because it's a finished whiskey. It's a rye.
But it's unique.
Yeah, it's too unique to really compare it to anything else.
And you're not going to drink it every day. I mean, it's going to be more of a special occasion celebration kind of.
And it's just perfect for the season. It's really nice.
Well, thanks for letting me tag along on this Whiskey in the Van Wednesday.
Yeah, you might have also noticed that we're not in the van because it's cold outside and we actually wanted to taste and smell this thing. Can't always do that when conditions aren't just right. So I don't know if there's anything else to say about it.
No, and all I can say is tomorrow is December 31, which means we almost made it, folks.
We almost made it. And we did it together. Really well done, everyone. Well, if you enjoyed this video, please click that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you never miss a video from us. If you've tried this bottle, if you pass this bottle to try something else, if you love it or hate it, if there's a bottle out there that you think does the finishing process even better than this one, let us know in the comments.
As always, like, comment, subscribe.
That's right. And from wherever we are,
To wherever you are.
cheers.
Happy New Year.
This stuff's real good.
I like it.
Yeah.